The afternoon sun burned over the city like a warning from heaven itself. Golden heat covered the streets while traffic moved slowly. Beneath the bright sky, tall glass buildings reflected the sunlight like mirrors of fire. The weather looked beautiful, but deep inside the city, danger was quietly growing. Far above the crowded roads, inside the luxury Royal Mafia penthouse, Victor DeLuca stood silently near the massive balcony window. He wore a perfectly fitted dark grey suit with black gloves. The sunlight touched half of his face while the other half remained hidden in shadow. His expression looked calm, but everyone around him knew one thing. When Victor became silent, someone always suffered. The large meeting room behind him was filled with tension. Several Mafia members stood quietly near the walls while giant digital screens showed maps of the city. Marco entered quickly. "Boss." Victor didn't turn around. Marco continued carefully. "We received strange activity reports near the harbor district. Unknown vehicles. No license plates. Heavy weapons." Victor finally spoke in a cold voice. "How many?" "At least 20 men." The room became silent. One Mafia member nervously stepped forward. "Maybe it's just another street gang trying to scare us." Victor slowly looked toward him. That single look was enough. The man immediately lowered his head in fear. Victor walked toward the massive table while sunlight followed behind him. "Street gangs don't move like soldiers." Marco placed several photos on the table. These were taken 30 minutes ago. The photos showed black armored SUVs parked near abandoned warehouses. Armed men wearing masks stood beside them. Victor's eyes narrowed. This isn't random. Suddenly, a loud notification echoed across the room. One of the hackers quickly turned toward the screen. "Boss, our private security cameras just went offline." Marco frowned. "All of them?" "Yes." The atmosphere instantly changed. Victor looked toward the bright afternoon sky outside the window. The city suddenly felt too quiet, too still. Then, boom! A massive explosion shook the entire building. Glass shattered across the penthouse. Several Mafia members fell to the floor while alarms screamed through the headquarters. Smoke rose outside into the burning afternoon sunlight. People on the streets below started running in panic. Marco grabbed his weapon immediately. Sniper attack. Victor remained standing, completely calm. Another bullet suddenly crashed through the window beside him. Bang! The bullet barely missed his head. Everyone opened fire toward nearby rooftops, but the sniper was already disappearing into the distance. Victor slowly wiped blood from a small cut on his cheek caused by broken glass. His cold eyes darkened. "Seal the building." Marco nodded instantly. All exits locked. The emergency metal doors slammed shut across the headquarters. Red warning lights covered the room. Victor walked toward the broken window and looked across the city. Far away, on another rooftop, a mysterious man wearing a black mask stood beside a sniper rifle. The hot wind moved through his long coat. For a few seconds, both men stared at each other from opposite buildings. Then the masked sniper disappeared. Marco approached carefully. "Boss, this was planned." Victor's voice became dangerously calm. "No." He clenched his fist slowly. "This was personal." Suddenly, another Mafia member rushed into the room. "Boss, we found something." He handed Victor a small silver coin marked with a strange symbol. A black crown covered in blood. The entire room froze. Marco's face changed immediately. That symbol. Victor stared silently at the coin. After a few seconds, he spoke one name. The Crimson Crown. Several Mafia members looked terrified. One whispered nervously, "I thought they disappeared years ago." Victor's eyes remained fixed on the burning city outside. "So did I." Meanwhile, across the city, inside an abandoned church hidden between old buildings, Elena sat, quietly beside a broken window. While warm afternoon, sunlight entered through the cracked glass. Her face looked worried. A small radio beside her suddenly produced static noise. Then Marco's voice echoed weakly. "Elena, if you hear this, stay hidden." Her expression changed instantly. Outside the church, Several black vehicles slowly stopped near the entrance. Doors opened. Armed men stepped out silently. Elena's breathing became heavier. One shadow slowly appeared near the church door. Click. Someone loaded a weapon. Back inside the Royal Mafia headquarters, Victor picked up his gun slowly. The hot afternoon sunlight behind him now looked darker, almost red. Marco looked at him carefully. "Boss, what's the plan?" Victor's cold eyes lifted toward the city skyline. "We end this war." He loaded his weapon. Before sunset. And somewhere far away, the mysterious masked sniper watched the city from another rooftop. Then he smiled slightly. "Welcome back, Victor."